System Service Tools User Profiles. In today's tip, we're going to be taking a look at user profiles used with service tools. Now, prior to v5r1 of OS 400, anyone with enough authority in their user profile could get into service tools and pretty much cause any type of havoc they wanted to on your system. With 5.1 and above, IBM has given us greater control over the security of service tools by requiring us to create specific user profiles for service tools access. Let's go ahead and see how this works. Log on to your AS400 with a user profile that has enough authority in it to start the service tools command. Generally, a security officer has that authority. Once you've logged on, go to a command line and type in the command STRSST, start service tools. And when you've done that, go ahead and press the enter key. We need to type in a user profile here that is authorized to use service tools. Again, your iSeries will ship with the security officer being able to do so. So let's go ahead and use that one for our example. If you have another profile that you can use, feel free. Enter the password. Make sure that the password is in the right case, because in service tools, passwords are case sensitive. And when you've done that, press the enter key. Okay, we are interested in the service tools menu item number 8, work with service tools user IDs. So let's type an 8 in the selection field and press the enter key. Alright, let's say that you have a need for an IBM service representative to come in on a periodic basis and perform maintenance on your iSeries. You want to create a user profile for that person because you do not want them to use one of your existing profiles, because that would compromise security. So we need to create a profile for it here. To do so, we'll type a 1 in the option field and we'll give this user profile an appropriate name, like IBM CE. Now you notice the options at the top up here, 1 equals create. Alright, one thing to keep in mind, this user ID that you type in here does not have to pre-exist on your AS400. In fact, once you create it in service tools, if you were to look for that user profiles with the work user profile command, you would not find it because it is only known to service tools. Okay, let's keep going. You type a 1 in the option field, you give a user profile a name, IBM CE for our example, and you press the enter key. You need to give this profile a password. Remember, passwords are case sensitive, so if you type this in lowercase here, the person using this profile has to type the password in lowercase as well. So we're going to give ours a profile password of test. And there's a couple other options you can set here. You can specify whether or not you want to allow access to the service tools from this profile during an IPL. In this case, we're going to say no, for example. You can leave that blank and it would default to no. You can also specify here whether or not you want the password to be expired at the time you create it. That probably doesn't make a lot of sense, so we're going to say no. We want the password to be valid, and we want to give it an appropriate description so we know who this is. Press the enter key, and we've created that user profile. Again, this profile does not exist anywhere but service tools, so it's not like someone could use it to log on to your AS400. So at this point, you might think that you're done, but you're not. There's still a lot more work to do. We now have to authorize this person to use service tools, and we also have to authorize this person the functions that they can do once they're into service tools. So let's go ahead and move your cursor down in the option field in front of this user profile, and we want to enable privileges. So let's enter option 7 in front of that. 7 equals change privileges, and we'll press enter. From here, we are presented with a list of functions that user profile can perform on your system through service tools. You'll notice that by default, all the functions have a status of revoked, which means, of course, that they cannot use these functions. So you have to go through and specifically grant authority to use these functions. And you see IBM has broken this down into the primary things that a person might need to do. In our example, we're going to allow access to the disk units and to administration. So we'll type a 2 in front of those functions, 2 equals grant, and we'll press the enter key. Notice in the status field over to the right that status changed from revoked to granted for both of those. Now you're still not quite done because you still have to authorize access to Service Tools itself. So let's scroll down in our list a couple pages until we get to the very bottom, and we'll find the function for starting Service Tools. You have to grant authority to start Service Tools to this profile, otherwise that person will not be able to get in and start Service Tools. So we type an option 2 in front of it to grant it. We'll scroll down again to the very bottom just so that you can see that the status has changed to granted. Okay? If you need to set all these profiles back to revoked or the default values, you can press the F9 key and that'll set everything back to the default value. Alright, let's press the F3 key. Your privileges have been saved. This profile has now been created, and this person can now get into your Service Tools and do the things they need to do. One thing to keep in mind, because this person cannot log on to your AS400 with this profile, you will need to log on to the AS400 first with your own profile, and then allow this person to get into Service Tools by typing in this Start Service Tools command. Also, if you've given this person authority to use Service Tools prior to an IPL, they can get into Service Tools that way. So have fun with it. Be judicious in allowing who gets into your Service Tools, and you will have a secure system.